Greetings, everyone. Welcome back. We've taken an extensive look through the calendar. We've taken an extensive look through some of the holidays. Today we are going to talk about the 4 basic books of Judaism. There are many important books, many books that are essential to us as Jews, but just like we have the basic elements in chemistry, and we know that water is very important, but we know that water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen, 2 basic elements, okay? So this is the same here. These are what I consider to be the 4 basic books of Judaism. First, the Tanach, which is Torah, that's the T, Nevi'im, that's the books of the prophets, and Ketuvim, the writings. In all, there are 24 total books. In the 5 books of Moses, you have Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. In the books of the prophets, Nevi'im, you have the books of Joshua, Judges, Samuel, 1 and 2, Kings, 1 and 2, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, the book of the Treyasar, the 12 minor prophets. I don't think they're minor in any way, but they are the books of Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. All right? So those are the books of the prophets. Then we have the Ketuvim, the writings, the book of Psalms, Proverbs, Job, the Song of Songs, the book of Ruth, Book of Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Chronicles, and there's 2 books of Chronicles, 1 and 2. So those are the books of what we call the Tanach, our scripture, from which everything else comes. The next of the basic books is the Mishnah and Talmud. So the Mishnah, there are 6 orders of Mishnah. Zeraim seeds, which is concerned with the commandments observed only in the land of Israel and with everyday ritual commandments. Moed, appointed times. This contains the laws of Shabbat, the Sabbath, and the holidays. Nashim, women, relates to the relationships between man and wife, from creation of the relationship to the God forbid, the ending of the marriage. Nezikim, damages, includes the laws governing interpersonal relations, property laws, and judicial procedure. Kedoshim, sacred things, relates to the temple service and the laws of the offerings. And then finally, the 6th order, Tahorot, pure things, contains the laws of ritual purity. So all of these are dealt with in detail. But then we have the Talmud. There are 63 folios in the Talmud, and each one represents part of the Mishnah and has extensive discussion. In many cases, it's not quite the same, but it reads like the minutes or the rulings of the Supreme Court here in the United States, where you have the majority opinions, you have minority opinions, and it goes through each of the laws, and this not only develops the how of what we do, but the why of what we do, as in Jewish law. And as I said, there are 63 booklets, folios, parts of the Talmud. The 3rd of the basic books is called the Shulchan Aruch. I guess the best way to put it, Shulchan Aruch is the set table. And basically, the Shulchan Aruch is a distillation of the Talmud and gives us the how-to of each of the 613 mitzvot, 613 commandments of Jewish law. Again, this doesn't tell us the why, only the how-to of each of these laws. So it's called the Shulchan Aruch, and that was developed originally by Rabbi Moshe Isserlis, who was, Joseph Caro, who was a Sephardic Jew, and then Rabbi Moshe Isserlis came along and composed the Mapah, which literally means tablecloth. So you put the tablecloth over the set table, and you then have the laws that pertain to Ashkenazic community, and so it's basically the same book, but with the ideas that were represented and ideals for the Ashkenazic community. So that's the Shulchan Aruch, and it covers everything from how we sleep, how we get up in the morning, to everything we do during the day, to when we go to bed at night. That's the third of the basic books of Judaism. And the fourth is the Siddur, the prayer book. Now, the prayer book, we talked about in one of the first couple sessions, we spoke about the prayer service. The Siddur contains the prayer service, the daily, morning, afternoon, evening services, Shabbat morning, Shabbat Musaf, the additional service for Shabbat afternoon and the evening, and Havdalah, the conclusion of Shabbat, the festival morning, afternoon, evening, home rituals, special blessings, and then, as I mentioned in a previous session, for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Siddur is called the Machzor, all right, for those two festivals, those two holy days. So those are the four basic books of of Judaism, and everything else comes from that. Commentaries, whether it's traditional commentaries by people like Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo ben Yitzchak, who was a medieval commentator, whether it was Bechor, the Abarbanel, or any of the other famous traditional commentators, to our more recent commentators who also explain Jewish law and share with us interpretations as to, for instance, how to use a microwave on Passover. Can you use excuse me, can you use a microwave for both meat and dairy? So those are more recent commentators who help us and guide us with more recent Jewish law. All of these compose the vast variety of books on Jewish law and Jewish content. But for us, we have four basic elemental books. The Tanach, our Holy Scripture, the Mishnah and Talmud, which explain to us the how and why of Jewish law, the Shulchan Aruch, which distills all of that information into here's how we do things, and then of course the Siddur, which helps us and guides us with prayer. These are our four basic books, and I hope as you continue to learn that you explore these books and find someone with which to study. Be well. Have a great day.